Failure. You will never succeed more than you fail. See, what is failure? Failure is defined as a lack of success. But is it really? Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player in the world, took 946 game-winning shots. He has only made 146 of those. I failed over and over and over again in my life. You know what they write about, and that is why I succeed. Every winner you have ever heard of has failed. I've failed everything I've ever done 100 times. I fail all the time, every day of my entire life. I failed. Without failure, how can you ever succeed? How can failure be defined as a lack of success? Because if you keep failing, you will keep growing. And if you keep growing, you will eventually succeed. True failure is if you decide you're not going to get back up and try again. Not trying is failure. Every video I uploaded would fail. Even now, every video has the chance of failing. But so what if it fails? Because I'm going to grow as a result. The only way it's a failure on Monday is if you decide not to progress from that, because you know if I fail today, okay, I'm going to learn something from that failure. And I'm going to try again on Tuesday. I failed to quit social media addiction. I failed university exams. I failed to be consistent in my faith and consistent with everything in general. I pretended that I didn't care what people thought of me when I did. I failed at self-improvement. I failed to make money. I failed at everything I've ever tried. At the end of every day for years, I felt like a failure. I'd go to bed regretting how unproductive I'd been, regretting that I broke every promise I made to myself. Oh, you said you wanted to be great. You said you were going to accomplish all these big goals, but it seemed I just liked the dopamine I got from talking about it, constantly thinking how I wished I had pushed myself so much harder. But listen, when you shift your perception of failure, you will learn to love it. Because if you keep getting up and trying, every failure just leaves more room for growth. Look at failure as your first, second, third, fourth, fifth attempt. But you've got to realize when you have those breaks, what that is. It's an opportunity for you to reassess, reboot, get better, figure out another way, find another way through it. It's just little challenges. At 16, I promised myself I'd succeed at YouTube. I'm now in my 20s and I haven't accomplished that goal yet. I could stop now and have truly failed, or I can keep getting up and trying again. Like in the gym, we break down our muscles so we can rebuild them stronger. If you're feeling like a failure right now, remember, nothing is going to change if nothing changes. If you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got. One of my favorite fictional characters that inspires the good in me is Toji Fushiguro. He was born weak and grew up a failure in a world where cursed energy is everything. If you aren't born with any, you are considered a pitiful human being, and especially in the Senju clan, the all-powerful clan Toji was born into. He was born a failure, but that didn't stop him from attacking every goal in front of him with as much intensity as he could. There comes a day where being average, being mediocre, it's just sickening to you. It makes you want to throw up. To him, it didn't matter how many times he failed. He was willing to try as hard as he could to succeed in his aim of gaining strength, and he ultimately became one of the strongest characters. That's the mindset you have got to have. Yeah, you might be failing right now, but bleep what anybody else thinks. You are pushing through the failures right now so that the future you can look back and be proud, knowing you gave it everything you could to try and succeed. There'd be no sense of accomplishment if you achieved everything you wanted at the click of a finger, and you wouldn't grow into the highest form of yourself. I failed to stop procrastinating every hard task for years. I wouldn't start my work on time. I'd push it off until tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow never came. That added to the anxious failure feeling I was dragging around because I was feeling so far off my potential. I felt like I couldn't trust myself, and that hurt. But I've realized I'm never going to want to start the work. There's never going to be a time everything aligns, and it's just easy to sit down and put in the effort. So why not just start now? Why can't I just become a man of action? The time is going to pass anyway. I could look back and think, why did I not start earlier? Or I could just suck it up, start now, and be proud of myself for doing it. I've always been someone who's tended to overthink and be anxious that I'm behind in life. But since I've begun taking action, that feeling has begun to fade into confidence, staying motivated. And I have been finding myself more motivated, even when I do not feel like doing something to do it. My brain can feel a certain way, but it's not going to choose how I behave. All the time, I just can't let it do it anymore. I'm going to have setbacks, I know. Because, nothing changes, and nothing changes, man. And look, if you still feel, after trying as hard as you can in whatever endeavor you're pursuing, wouldn't you agree it would feel a whole lot nicer to fail knowing you gave it everything you could, instead of being overwhelmed by the regret of not having tried as hard as you could? Ah, man, I wish I would have. Is that ever going to be a positive statement when you have to look back at your last couple of years or months or weeks, whatever, and think, oh man, I wish I could have blank, so be thankful you're a failure right now, because all it means is you're improving and growing into your best version. Never stop failing, never stop trying, and you will grow into something you're proud of. See you in the next video if you subscribed.